There we go. Unmute my mic. What's up, Arsenal? How we doing this evening? We're ready to rock and roll. We should be here on Facebook and YouTube live right now. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple things before John gets on here, before we get started. I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to share this live. Um, you know John. If you don't know John Lynch, you're about to find out. But you you want people to hear the good news that he's about to share with us. So here's what I want you to do: get on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, share this, send it, text it, do whatever you need to do there. On Facebook, hit the share button. Let's invite some people. There's good news to be talked about, and we're gonna get to talk about that tonight. So invite some people. This is the Convo at the Arsenal. We are talking with John Lynch tonight. It's going to be incredible. I can promise you that. In fact, I don't even know if John knows this, but I got some giveaways today. I've got this book that changed my life that John, one of the authors on. So The Cure, we're going to give away The Cure. If you're a parent, I've even got The Cure and Parents. We're going to give that one away. This one's incredible. It's taking the concepts of grace and the cure, and John will explain it, but in putting it in to parenting, we got a few different books. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got a couple different giveaways we're going to do. Number one, if you share this video, I'm going to go into the shares and we're going to pick out some people that shared the video, and I'm going to give away a book. So I will send you a book. I'll message you on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever that's at. And I'm going to give away a book. I'll send you The Cure. It's an incredible book. Like I said, it changed my view of God, myself, everything. So share so we can do that. If you're a parent, here's what I want you to do. Wait, I got the wrong one. If you're a parent, I want you to go into the comments and tell me during this craziness of social distancing, quarantining, what has been the craziest moment you've had with your children, and what has been the most incredible moment you've had with your children. We're gonna pick some out. I got a couple of these. Can you see that there? The Cure and Parents. We're gonna send that to you. I will mail it to you. The Cure and Parents. So share. Let's get some people on here. I even got this one. Look at this one here. That's old school. I think this was a used book actually when I bought it, but I was actually glancing at it today trying to see if this was my highlights and stuff or somebody else's, but those are mine. Look at this. It says "So me." This was me. This, man, the concepts that really not, just the understanding of grace has wrecked me, changed my life. So share this, Facebook, YouTube, share it. We couldn't get Instagram going, but it's way more fun on here. So hey, if you've got look at this. Pam saw the Cure. She said, "I love that book. Love that book." And me too. I don't know who Amy's talking about here. Two heroes right here. Maybe John, do you have somebody else in the room with you? What's going on? But this is going to be fun. I'm excited. We're going to have a blast tonight. I'm going to bring him on. We're just going to do this thing. We're going to hop into this. My friend, he's an author. He's a speaker. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a wine connoisseur. I've even heard like rumors of mayor of Facebook. So just one of my favorite people to just get to talk to and spend time with, and definitely one of my favorite communicators ever to just listen to. I never have a dry eye when he's speaking. So this is going to be a blast. We're going to have fun. So ready to rock and roll? I'm going to do this. I'm going to show, just because I don't think I do a good job of introing. So I'm going to show a video. John doesn't even know that I stole this video from his website. But I'm going to show a video that just describes who he is, what he does at John Lynch Speaks. And so I'm going to roll this real quick. It's a couple minutes. Watch this, and then John will be on with us right after it.
My name is John Lynch, and I'm a storyteller. And I'm a lover of Jesus. And I have this incredible passion to tell others about freedom. On my worst day, I dare to believe that I wear a robe of righteousness that Christ is crazy about me. There are certain things that need storytellers, not just factual information or just didactic truth. So I love painting pictures. I love creating scenes. I love giving ways into a story that show God's heart. That's such a powerful, powerful need with grace. Grace isn't a theology to compete with another theology. It's a way of seeing, and it needs people to invite us in.
God is right here in the midst of it. His arm tightly around you, loving you, enjoying you. He smiles at you and he says, you know, I really am big enough to handle your stuff, all of it.
The power story is it gives my audience, it gives you permission to be able to put yourself in the scene without getting caught. So you get to try it on while this guy's up there on stage playing it out himself. I think what I bring is hope, inspiration, playfulness, humor.
The room of grace. Grace. And you can't say it except in Scottish or Irish, for this is the manner in which God speaks.
I'm doing everything I can through stories that seem to have no tie to anything, that are just sometimes like a lead break solo, just to play so an audience knows this is real and this is safe.
All of it. Past, present, future. There's nothing that defines you anymore.
My name is John Lynch, and I'm absolutely convinced that every single person on this planet needs to understand and be able to try on and wear grace. To understand a God who adores them beyond their wildest dreams. And I get to do that.
Okay, so this is what I live for. Every seat as it fills up. I'm going on in a few minutes and I love this. To get to go on stage and make people laugh and tell them stories about Jesus and convince them that they are free.
I told you I can't. When he talks, I'm gonna cry. But here, if that doesn't tell you who John is, you're about to meet him right now. My friend, incredible, just person, communicator, author, John Lynch. Please hit those hearts. Show him how much you love him. Welcome him right now. Here's John Lynch on the Convo with Chad. John,
Wow. What
my
a
man.
treat. Thank you, Chad. Golly, man.
I'm so excited to get to just talk to you tonight.
Me too. Both of us were saying right before we went on, there's never a time when we don't get nervous. And,
Yeah,
and I'm like a little kid tonight and going, God, make me funny. Don't let me embarrass anybody. So
Yeah.
after all these years, that's still there.
Mm.
So
Well,
thank
that's good
you.
to hear because when I get nervous, I think something's wrong with me. But every single time, doesn't matter if I'm walking on stage, if I'm going online, I'm
I'm walking up on stage thinking, I could have been an electrician. What am I doing?
I know I was selling motorcycles before I got into ministry. So what am I doing here? How am I even doing this? So I love this. Marty said, I'm already crying. Me too. Watching that video.
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't know I ripped that off your website, but
No, I didn't.
I got
It's
special
so
skills.
cool to have someone who's got chops who can do things like that. I've got like tin cans and string and stuff. So
I mean, you got a setup. You got to look at your clock.
this is my clock. You see that? That's okay. Let me just take you around for just a second.
Yeah. Let's see. What are you doing?
That's my Volkswagen clock. So if the house is burning, that's one of the first things. There's my little Mercy Me gold record. Come on.
Come on.
that's another thing. I carry
I didn't
that.
know you were in Mercy Me.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I'm playing castanets.
I gotcha. Yeah.
No, these guys, if you've listened to their last two albums, CDs, whatever, you hear a different message. And
Mhm.
that's because somewhere in there, Bart went through this tough season, and he was given by Rusty Kennedy, a good friend of ours, the books, The Naked Gospel by Andrew Farley, and The Cure.
Yeah.
And it rocked his world. It wrecked him. And
Feeling.
and since then, he cannot stop thanking us. He cannot. He took me on tour with them once. I've gotten to go on. Stacy and I've gotten to go on all these cruises with them, which right now is not a great thing, but it's delightful. So, anyways, when they got this gold record, they made sure we got one of those to say thank you, guys.
That's incredible. Yeah, I know, listening to their albums, their last two albums, like the language has just changed.
Yeah,
incredible.
that's right. And they have changed the way they see life. If you listen to Bart in a concert, he's just preaching. He'll do a couple songs, but mostly he has to get this out. And he could, on those cruises, he could have anybody speak, but he wants this message, so he keeps having Rusty and myself and Tim Timmons. So I just respect him so much. I respect all those guys so much.
It's incredible. That reach, that like I said, I know the feeling. The Cure, when I read this book, it changed something. It says on the cover, "What if God isn't who you think he is, and neither are you?" And wow, does it showed me that my view of God and my view of myself. I think actually one of the quotes in here is, the best commentary on my view of God is the way I view myself.
Yes.
And wow, what a treat that has changed my life, changed my ministry. I mean, the Arsenal, our church, is literally the focus of our church is to teach the message of grace and new covenant. And we would not do that or be that without the Cure.
Well, and you went old school tonight with the old True Face. That was so beautiful.
That's an old one.
But I stumbled into these truths. I'll just say this to you, that I came out of seminary, brand new Christian, went to seminary because somebody said, they talk about God all day long, you got to go there. And so I went, and I came out, not because of the seminary, but because of me. I came out as a Pharisee. And so I was judgmental. By that time, I'd become kind of resentful of myself. It's like I could hear this track with this voice that I thought was God saying, well, funny boy, you made them laugh today. You know what? You know who wasn't taken in that much? Me.
Yeah.
I'm on to you, and I'm going to expose you. I'm going to out you, and you'll thank me for it someday. But that's how I saw it. I really thought that I already was a disappointment to him, even after 3.5 years in the faith. And so Bill Thrall, co-author and my big brother in the faith, anything that I have to say is derivative from that man's wisdom and that man's goodness, to take me in and to let me stand with him. The only thing I've got going for me, same with Bruce McNichol, the only thing I've got going for me is that Bill can't write. He can't. I mean, he could quilt underwater better than he can write. And so it just allowed me a lot of job security back in those days.
Well, it's been a great team. I mean, Bill is the king of wisdom, wisdom like packaged in one-liners.
One-liners. That's exactly right. He's just, you say, could you say that again? He goes, no, I really can't. That was it. Once it comes across the stage, that's it. But he is all that. And he's turned out for me, maybe as importantly, to be the real deal and to have been faithful and not run from me when I was a liability, when I was too much work, when I was when his reputation would be put into test because of my immaturity. So to be loved like that, that's a pretty freakishly good thing.
Right.
And also you've had my son at the Arsenal and not me. So this is just trying to get.
Here it is. We've got you though. It took a pandemic and a quarantine to get it. Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. In fact, I mean, the way we kind of met, you tell it that we accosted you at a conference, a Network 20 conference.
Gosh. Reward was there. Someone was, and Mike Gonzalez, he grabbed me and said, "Get in here." And you guys are sitting around a table, and we spent a lunch together, an hour together. And I thought, who are you guys, and why do you know about me? And stop stalking me. It was so good, and it just created for us this instant kinship and instant friendship. And since then, even the other day, I trust Chad so much that in something really important, I just said, "Chad, teach me. I don't know what I'm talking about in this area." And I just trusted you. And that's one of the hallmarks of these truths of grace. Once we learn them, it is we can become faithful, we can become trusted, and so we can care for others.
It's from that moment when we met and talked, and I remember we were sitting around this round table. It was you and me. Reward was there. Ryan Callahan. Jay Patel.
Yes. Yes.
Jay's now youth pastoring at Grace
Very Church. Yeah.
But from there, I remember I was sitting in a funeral actually months later, and I got a message on Facebook from you asking if I'd be interested in a cohort with Bill Thrall and yourself and Bruce McNichol. And I would have never met Caleb, your son, without that. And now, I mean, I count Caleb as one of my best friends in the world. And I mean, a brother. And
great. Isn't that just so great? What a rare gift.
It's been incredible. But
your studio looks so cool.
You like it? I got the lighting tonight. Back when the Spurs were good.
Yeah, that's very nice. Can you mix that up? Is that interchangeable?
All this, yeah. Oh yeah. I can even I can change colors. I can do all kinds of stuff.
I can't. This is the look. This is it. You'll get this anytime. I am putting this into a studio though, and with the help of a dear friend. So soon this won't look this way, but
at this point, I think that's all we get to do, right? We've got to go to studio.
That's exactly right.
Here we go. I know you've got a new thing going too. It's John Lynch Speaks, where you were traveling. Now you're virtually speaking.
Gosh, I was on a roll. I had a month and a half of solid. We started out with Mercy and Me, and then I was just going, and then boom. And for a little bit, I thought, was that the end of that? But this has been so beautiful through Facebook Live and through Zoom, through SteamYard, and through all the things that you're putting on. I'm speaking more now than I've ever spoken. Like I've got 7 of these in the next 7 days. So it's and like you said, people stay. They don't want you to get off in 20 minutes because where are they going? You know.
I mean, we've run through all the good Netflix shows at this point.
That's right.
Now we're just watching anything that comes out. So this is way better. And I know we were gonna. You had some cool stuff for us, and we want to get into that. I don't want to.
Well, thank you. John Lynch Speaks. Just a quick. That's it's I've been with Trueface for a long time, writing and speaking, and because we want to pass this on to another generation, we got a new CEO, and he's just awesome, awesome, awesome. But he lives in Atlanta. So, and that's such a cool shot. Gosh.
Oh, you won't see that yet. There we
Oh,
go.
look at that. Look at that. That's great. Well, anyways, Robbie is the president, Robbie Angle of Trueface now, and they're going into curriculum development. But man, my love is still to be on the road and still speak, to go into places and get to model that this is real, that it's authentic. And so it became incumbent, while still speaking for Trueface, for me to start up John Lynch Speaks, and I love it. And anyone who would like to go to that website, and you get to watch a bunch of videos. We've got a library of videos that we've been working on, this group out of Canada. Yeah, there it is, a Lazarus Media Group. They've been wonderful in just developing these. And so one bangs out each week, but I've got
awesome
some more coming in through August. But also, you can sign up there. Where is it? Yeah, well, let's walk together, and you could just give me your email, and you get a couple of devotionals from me each month. And so it's what I get to do, and I just absolutely love it. So join with me. It's johnlynchspeaks.com, and it'll take you right there. And
that's where I stole the video.
Yeah, that's too fun. Too fun.
Yeah.
Jeff, gosh, I have to just travel with you, and you travel with me.
I told you this is my job interview. You know,
yeah.
I can do it in church. Maybe I can do this for John Lynch Speaks.
Gosh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure people got signed up for your devotionals and get to see your videos.
Well, enough of that, man. Thank you for doing that. It blesses me so much, makes me feel loved and important. Oh. Well, what I wanted to do is, you guys cherish this, so I'm speaking to the choir in some ways, but even some of the folks who are on because of your influence or from other places. Somebody asked me recently to talk about the concepts of Beau's Cafe, and it's a book that we wrote, not a cover that I really like, but I love this book, and it's a story of how grace gets lived out in community. And that's the passion of my heart, is not only the incredible truths of the new covenant and being able to defend them and stand in them, but how does that live out in a marriage, in a family, as a parent? So that's been a passion of mine. So tonight, for me to be able to get to talk about some of those principles, and some of them are not new with me. Some of these I'll be quoting Bill or be quoting someone else, but these are what I've given my heart to. I called tonight God loving me through my community. I wrote this week. Many of us are taught to work on our righteousness in private to display it in public. Grace teaches us that we're already righteous. So we get to show what it looks like in public by the humility of trusting others with our limitations. And so that is a journey that this chameleon, who always wanted his talent to win the day, man, that has been a journey for this man. So I'm going to try to talk that through, about environments and relationships of grace that emanate into a culture where I can give permission to you so that you can protect me. So let me start with a couple of definitions. You guys,
I'm gonna throw you on. Here you go. You're on. I'm out.
Guys, no, gosh, and come back at any moment. But I'm going to give some definitions on grace, just so that we have common language together. I wrote that grace is the absolute and unforced favor gained by Christ's death and resurrection, allowing God to be completely for us and endlessly in love with us, apart from anything we have to prove. Grace is an actual realm, a way of life in which we no longer strive for acceptance. We mature and heal and are released into his intentions by trusting that Jesus and all of his power is fused into us, creating an entirely new person. And I add to that definition that grace is not a superior theology perfected to defeat other theologies. Grace is the perfect love infused expression of Jesus now living in us. It defeats darkness, not other theologies. So I wrote this week and put it on Facebook. Grace is not to free us from obeying the heart of God. Grace, I love this analogy. Grace is the nutrient-rich soil that seeds of truth drop into so they're not choked by the self-condemnation of failure. Instead, no longer afraid of God's disgust, we can obey God from the heart rather than from compliance. And we grow into a beautiful, healthy tree, giving shade to others. Grace is so much more than a polite way of living. It's so much more than saying, "Hey, come on, will you give me some grace?" It is a power. It is a modus operandi. I love Romans 6:14. Smack dab in that incredible section of scripture, Romans 5-8, that gives us our identity in Christ from Paul. But right smack dab in the middle of it, Romans 6:14 says, sin will not be master over us because we're no longer under law, but we're under grace. Sin will not be master over us because we're no longer under buck-upism or moralism or striving or putting a mask on or bluffing or any of that. Sin will not be master of us because we're no longer under moralism. We're under grace. Isn't that crazy? There's a power in grace that is what defeats sin. Grace actually causes me to sin less and to love more and to be loved more. And I know, because I was one of those early on who argued against that. I thought it's too good to be true. And many say, yeah, but what about accountability and responsibility to call out sin? What does grace do about that? And I wrote that you can accomplish that by the flesh or by wooing out the new nature to do what it most wants to do. Accountability, responsibility to call out sin, you can do that by the flesh, or you can do it by wooing out another's new nature to do what it most wants to do. See, any immature person with a bent towards exhortation can do the first, but you just risk causing the individual to learn to hide better and inoculate the community from risking an environment of grace. Learning the art of the second, that's where great beauty's found. See, the most real me is Christ in me. The most real me does not want to get away with anything. The most real me is a lover. The most real me wants most to love you. So now to that teaching on permission and protection. So you've got this guy who's a mess and he's scared, but he doesn't know what to do because I don't want to give up control. That's all I've had. I came to Christ and I thought, okay, at least I can tell stories and I can be a speaker and I'll try to be famous. I'll try to be great, but nobody's going to know me because I can't risk that giving up control. And so we say these hard words. The spiritually immature are not loved well, but it's not because they fail. They're not loved well because they fail to trust the love of another. Because they trust no one, their needs aren't met. And because their needs aren't met, they live in selfishness. Not only do they not receive love, they don't give it. And that's the story of Beau's Cafe with this main character. It's written through his eyes of Stephen, who's so much, everything's messed up. He's blown it with his marriage, with his kids, in everything. And this man comes along offering protection, but he can't force it on him. And we almost lose Stephen in the book. Andy almost goes away. Cynthia almost goes away because I can't force that. John 13:34, you know it. But Jesus says, a new commandment I'm going to give to you, that you love one another, even as I've loved you, that you would love one another. It's, as we say, not the 11th commandment. It's a whole new order of commandment. And for the first time, a creature, now with Christ in me, a brand new, fused with Jesus creature, not a saved sinner, but a saint. Now a brand new creature, for the first time, I can obey a command without it causing me to rebel. And so it's a commandment, but it's Jesus winking, saying, right, I'm just giving you permission to do what you most long to do. Love one another. You heard me just say a moment ago, love is the process of meeting needs, period. Anything else, anything less, is just Hallmark sentimentality. Love is the process of learning to meet needs. You never hear it in Scripture. You don't hear Jesus talking about love or God talking about love without it meeting a need. So you've got Jesus saying, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Because he loves, the way of loving is to meet a need. Isn't it crazy? We were all created with limitation. That's something. God actually created you and me with limitation. You ever think about that? Why? Why would he do that? Why would you create me without limitation? And the answer is so that I can get loved. If I don't have limitation, you can't love me. Isn't that so? So there has to be. You can respect me, admire me, but if I don't have limitation of some form, I never get loved. And that's why it's so the indictment on so many communities of faith is that we're bluffing it. Like somehow God, when we look good, God looks good, and that we've got to put on some kind of a fake look so that Christianity works. And nothing could be further from the truth. When we bluff like we don't have any limitations, we never get loved. When I walk around, as we talk about in The Cure, saying, how's everyone? I'm doing fine. We're doing fine, doing just fine. Everybody's fine. Fine. I don't get loved. You may respect me, you may admire me, but I don't get loved. And so to have an environment where it is welcomed. It is welcomed for me to be discovered with need, with failure, with limitation. That's why I love how Paul picks up on that in Galatians 6:2. He says, now, bear one another's burdens. And when you do, you will fulfill that law back in John 13:34. You'll fulfill the law of Christ. Bear one another's burdens. Draw closer to each other. Not just travel mercies or unspoken requests, but actually drawing close to each other when we fail, when we mess up, when we have need, literally to get under and lift. He says this is the one thing we get to do with our lives. It's what he asks. If you do that, everything else takes care of itself. So receiving love always comes before giving love. We love only when we first learn how to receive the love of God and others. As 1 John says, we love because, as a response, we love because he first loved us. And it's so vital. I want so much. I can't do Galatians 6:2 unless I earn your trust. I can't bear your burden unless you let me. See, all of us, me, you, we all have these hidden things that until somebody knows about them, they give us a self-permission, an entitlement to fail. I carry these lies. I've carried them all my life and then into my faith. And until someone came along who I trusted, they never saw the light of day. Once they see the light of day, they lose their power. So I must earn your trust so you'll let me behind those lies. I've got those lies. Along the way, I've believed these things to be true. God, I think this sin issue is too strong for you, for example. God, I think this sin satisfies me more than you. God, you haven't taken care of me the way you have others. And they all became the warp and woof of my shame. They all became the warp and woof of my permission to fail. And so I need you. I need Ree, who I'm looking at him here. I need Bill Thrall. I need my wife. I need Caleb, my son. I need Chad. So you can get behind those lies. And so, as we've talked about before, in the control cycle, all sin starts somewhere in a something that I observe or something that hits me or catches me off guard that plays into a habitual or known pattern. And when it hits me, when I see something that I wasn't even intending to see, it immediately has this jarring darkness that floods over me. And the first thing for me usually is shame comes in. It says, see, there you go. That's what you always do. That's what you've always done. You're going to do it again. Yeah, whatever you want to do, you're going to fail here. You always fail. That's what you do. That's what, every time you feel this, eventually it ends up in some kind of failure, maybe in 5 seconds or 5 months, but you're going to fail. And so somewhere in there, a temptation is offered. And somewhere in there, there is an implicit permission to do it. Now, here's what's crazy. The next thing we want to do to try to stop it is to resist it. I will resist. I will be strong and I won't do this. Think about it. We are trying to resist the very sin we've already given ourselves permission to do. That's just crazy. It doesn't work. Eventually, I will fail. And the only thing that breaks that cycle in the moment is to learn to confess to someone what I'm about to do. to learn. See, the power of sin is in its hiddenness, and it gets broken in the moment when I choose to reveal my intentions. When I have someone that I can say to, help me. I want to tell you what I was about to do, what I still am about to do, what I'm planning on doing. I remember I did that with Randy Thompson, my dear friend, one time, and Randy said, I'll be right over. And I said, the fact that I had you to be able to tell this to, the fact that you didn't throw me under the bus, the fact that you have been there so long that I knew you wouldn't throw me under the bus, and I could trust you and take the risk of telling you what embarrasses me so much. You saved me. You saved my ministry. You saved my family. You saved my marriage. You saved my children. Thank you. He says, I'll be right over. And I said, I don't think you need to. The power just got broken. And so that's how important this is.
Can you hear me? I got to ask you a
I
question.
can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
So explain. So when I grew up in this culture of accountability.
Yeah.
You've hit on it.
Yeah.
What's the difference here?
Yeah.
Accountability and in earning trust.
Well, the hard thing about accountability, and sometimes people say it's just semantics, but accountability, it sounds so good. We have accountability groups, but I'm making you be accountable to me. And so the trouble with all accountability, it becomes a function of law.
Mm.
It causes me to want to hide and resent those I love the most. So I end up hiding from you. I end up lying to you.
Mm.
What I need is protection. What I need is somebody who has earned the right to stand with me to help break that pattern of sin by their permission into my life. Just simply by my trust of them, I have someone where I can out myself in skin, in real form. God says, I'm going to give you human beings to do that on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so protection is so much different than accountability. It takes the law out of it and just allows a place where trust is by grace. And so as I get to trust you, I say, Chad, and by the way, anytime that I say that this is easy, it never gets easier, because shame wants to say, John, you don't want to become the issue. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person who always has the problem. And once Chad knows this, he's not going to respect you as much. He's not going to read your books anymore. and so that lie is there still, calling my name out every single time. But the power of this way of life, of choosing grace and believing that God's not embarrassed, he's not ashamed, he's not disgusted. He knew it before the world began. And when he hears me getting to tell you the truth about me, all the angels in heaven, they do like a samba dance. They get on a line, a little conga. They think that's the difference between accountability and protection. But it involves trust. And this is an old Bill Thrall line, but it's one of his one-liners that we talk about. The degree to which I trust you is the degree to which you can love me, no matter how much love you have for me.
So good.
And so look what that does. It puts the onus on the lover. The protector puts the onus on themselves. The positive influencer asks permission to earn trust. And that becomes the power that allows someone like John Lynch in his immaturity to grow up. So how do I earn trust?
Yeah.
First, we use that term, it involves integrity, but not the room of good intentions integrity. Integrity simply means that I would be able to do that for which I say I can do, and that I'd be able to tell you those areas that I can't help and I can't be able to do it, and then I'll go with you to help find someone else. It involves me saying, how do I earn your trust? And letting you tell me. And this is with children, this is with friends, this is with people on staff. It involves being winnable, to tell on myself. And when I do wrong, to be able to not let my power or position win the day, but instead for me to be able to say, that was about me. When I do that, you'd think that I would lose respect, but instead, my children, my friends, they can't respect me more. It just goes, who are you? Why would you do that? So it earns trust, showing up, pursuing, and then in some form and in some way, getting to ask that question, okay, how am I affecting you? How am I so much love you so much. Like with my kids, I so much wanted to influence them, but I knew I couldn't influence them unless they trusted me. So to get to say to them, okay, what am I doing? How am I doing? How am I influencing you? How am I affecting you? And at first they go, I ain't touching that. No, I will pay for that. And then you keep pursuing and saying, I mean it. And I want you to hear that I will fail at responding right some of the time when you do it. But will you teach me how to respond right? I want to do it. So how am I? And then eventually they will tell you, and you'll want to say, that's not true. No, that's wrong. And then they'll say, remember? And you get to say, okay, all right, tell me it again. I'm writing it down. And then to give them permission to protect you in that area. So that there is no Gnosticism that says, all I am is your protector. I never need you at all. Instead, it says, I need you too. So I want to earn your trust, so you might want to give me permission to protect you. And then you end up getting to hide nothing in the safety, and here's the word, of my commitment. That is maybe the most important aspect of earning trust, is to draw close, to offer the strength of my commitment. I am for you, I am here, and I'm not going away. You can't scare me away, you can't fail me away. I am committed to you regardless. And then unresolved issues are brought into the light where they can get healed. That's why we make that statement. Chad, you know this one so well. It's less important that anything ever gets fixed than that nothing has to be hidden. Gosh, what a world that would be in my home if my kids were convinced of that. It's teaching a bunch of things. One of the things it's teaching is that nothing ever gets fixed, right? Mm-hmm. It gets resolved, redeemed. God does that to it. But like a bent slinky, you can sit on it all you want, and it's not going to get fixed.
Right.
But what I want, because hiddenness is where every sin foments and grows. So what I want to do is create a culture where people don't have to hide, where they don't have to hide. And so then that breaks the power of sin. It brings sin into the light. So for even for the ability for me to not demand that you trust me, because that's the very issue for the person needing protection. They don't know how to trust. But for you saying, will you let me? Oh gosh, my daughter Amy's on here. She says, I know for a fact that your kids are convinced of it. Well, I'm out.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Good night. I'm done with my ministry. Thank you. It's been a nice ride.
Done it.
Precious girl.
That's
Um,
Mandy just jumped on too. I saw Mandy from Grace Live.
gosh, Mandy. Gosh. Mandy, you are so dear to us. What a beautiful. Did you just get on? Well, how are you going to answer me? But it looks like you just got on. And Amy would tell you that I have been a work in progress as I've learned these truths, and it's never too late to learn them, right? It is like I don't know how Caleb turned out the way he did, because he was my firstborn, and we were just trying stuff out. We didn't know what we were doing. We had no books. We were just here. We chose to not tie him up in the yard. We did some things right, but Amy, I feel like I understood Grace more, and then Carly, I understood it even more. But they would say that I wanted, and Stacy wanted so much to create this environment. That statement for Bo's Cafe, all of us are awakening to the pain of realizing I can't control my world the way I thought I could. And I'm stuck with unresolved issues whose symptoms, here I am again, I'm trying to fix, all without the help of anybody else. I don't even know what the issues are. I'm just trying to fix symptoms. And so we make the statement, what if there was a place in my marriage, with my kids, with a pastor, with a friend, with a coworker, what if there was a place so safe that the worst of me could be known, and I would be discovered that I would be loved more, not less, in the telling of it. We doggies. That's
I got a button. I got a button here.
What if there was a place safe that the worst of me, the worst of John Lynch, could be known, and I would discover that I would be loved more in the telling, not just break even. And we all know it's true. When someone outs themselves and tells the truth about themselves, it gives me permission to love you. I grow so weary of relationships where I'm never let in.
Yeah.
If I can't love you at some point, there's only so many football analogies we can talk about. But once you let me in, I'm so vitally interested. So that truth alone is a game changer for me. What if there was a place so safe that I could discover that the worst of me could be known? And not everybody, nobody at the DMV cares, but a few have to know everything about John Lynch. Otherwise, it gets hidden. As long as I know, it doesn't have to be hidden. So let me finish up this section, and we can go to questions. All I wanted to show is kind of a picture, just so you have it in your mind, of what would I do if I wanted to let somebody start to meet a need in me. Because that's new language for some of us, isn't it? It's like, what do you mean love is the process of meeting needs? I needed so much to be loved, and all of us have needs. All of us, God-given needs, so that we could be loved. I have a small list. I have the need for attention. And when it's not met, bad things happen. Unhealth happens. I have the need for security. And when that's not met, I am insecure. I have the need for direction. I have the need, oh gosh, do I have the need for affirmation. Affirmation is, we could do a whole time just on affirmation. Affirmation it is so that I don't have to brag on myself.
Right.
That's what Proverbs says. It says, let another's praise you, not your own mouth. I so much also need to be affirmed so I know who I am. So that need is so vital. Affirmation never puffs me up. Instead, whenever I'm affirmed honestly, it humbles me and it causes me to want to do more of that for which I was affirmed in the very place that affirmed me. That's why it's so imperative for honest, authentic, non-manipulative affirmation to take place in faith communities, because it causes us to want to do more of that in the very place that affirmed us. Anyways, that's a need. I have the need for love, of course. I have the need for protection. John Lynch does not make it without a village of protection. So here I am, the one who has need, and all of us have need. All of us get to be the protector. All of us get to be the one giving permission. But maybe I look at you and I study you for a while and I think you could help meet a particular need in my life. And at first it may be very, very small, and then later much larger. So here, all it is are these little one-liners that we kind of formed back in the early days of trying to give language to this. I first have to acknowledge that I have needs, that it's not just God and I, but that I have needs that God has allowed for you to meet. And so then I have to express a desire for you to meet one of my needs with an expression of your love. And then I have to choose to let you meet my need. And that means I give up control. But that choosing to let you, the letting is the trust that I'm placing in you now. Imperfectly, clumsily, but I'm doing it. And when I trust you, I get then, and only then, when I trust you, I get to receive your love. And when my need gets met, I get fulfilled. Well, that's enough. I've talked too much, but there's a lot of things that we've just walked through that it might be fun for us to think question and answer wise. Thanks for letting me do that.
I could sit here all night.
Oh, Chad, it's a delight. But anyways, for some, like Reese sitting there going, oh, come on, I already know this. But for some of us, this is brand new. When I was out of seminary, if someone had said these words to me, I would have said, you're speaking a different language. But it's the language of love. It's what grace is for. It is not just for us to have a better theology, but for it to affect our lives radically. And so this language of love is learning to love and be loved. And it's a sacred way of life. And the reason I'm coming on here is, Chad, because I know you guys are convinced at risking this way of life.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking through some of these comments. One of them, I didn't put it up. I know it can get distracting when they pop up and you're on a roll. So I was trying to.
Thank you. Thanks.
But I saw Valerie. She corrected it later. She said "Heart of Man," but "Heart of Man" is my favorite movie in the world. Of transparency and truth is so inspiring to me. Thank you for this.
Gosh, Valerie, thank you. These young filmmakers took a risk on us old dogs, and just all these really excellent thinkers that I was so proud to be on there with. And I think that's the first movie on brokenness, on sexual brokenness, but on all kinds of brokenness, to me, that didn't just give a buck up theology or a come on, let's do better answer, but that gave an answer out of our identity in Christ.
So yeah, it was incredible. Well, I saw it in the theaters a couple times, and then we did a study with a men's group on it. Actually, I look at this. Boom.
Wow,
Look at,
that's wonderful.
we got little participants guides.
Wow.
Got it here. You know, we'll give them away.
Yeah.
Anybody want a participant guide? Hit me up. I'll send them to you.
I've got a clock here I'm willing to give away. No,
You can give away your Volkswagen clock.
I got nothing here tonight. Pen. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I got them. I got your books.
That's so good.
I'm not giving True Faced away, but I'll give away. I've got some cures and some cure parents. And
I've got old watermarks, some old damaged True Face copies that.
No way.
There was a box of them. They were just kind of going to throw them out. And I said, give me a dozen of them. So if you want some water damaged True Face, I'm your man.
I didn't show this one earlier. I have this one too.
Hello. Oh, that was going to be my ace in the hole. The one thing you hadn't shown. Yeah.
I got boxes. I think I got a box of these somewhere, unless Mike Gonzalez stole them last time.
I'm so happy with that. That turned out.
This was incredible. Just every day. It's 365 days of encouragement.
Leap year, you're ruined, but
yeah,
the rest of the
year, right? Yeah. But anybody have questions for John? I know we've been on here for a minute. Anybody have questions? I'm looking through here.
Just hook something up, please.
I'm looking through here.
Valerie, the list that you're talking about,
oh yeah.
I'm not sure. I think
it was the one I acknowledge.
Yes. And
problem. Yeah.
And Chad, what if I send to you my notes, and then you can give to anyone who would like those? Would that be the best way to get those?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll upload them on a PDF and or whatever we need to do.
There's that magic that you do. I'd have a little stone and chisel and yeah. DeMarcus
had me weeping for 2 days during my freshman year of college. So blessed by that film.
Gosh, man, oh man, oh man.
DeMarcus is incredible. DeMarcus is a man, I don't know, junior now maybe at UTSA here in town. But since we've gone to online church, DeMarcus has been filming all of our Arsenal Kids videos. So he's doing taking ideas of these truths, and I mean talking to like my 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 year old, and I don't have a 6 and 7, but a 5 and 8 year old. And
is DeMarcus who Marty was talking about the other day, just saying you got to watch those videos?
Maybe it was the kids ones. It may have been, but it's been fun. He's killing it. But yeah, I remember when we saw that
wow.
years ago. That film has been incredible. I went on Netflix today just to see if it was still on there, and it's not.
No,
The Heart of Man.
It was on Amazon Prime, I think, for a while, and then it went back on Netflix for a while, and you can get it out of the back of my car. I've got some copies. So,
do you?
Yeah.
You could upload them and put them bootleg somewhere. And
yeah.
Here we go. Let's see. Ree had a question here.
Oh gosh, Ree, what a great question. John, do you ever see this message of grace ever being the primary perspective preached for most pulpits? The answer is no. But, and you know this as well as I do, we're starting to find each other, and we're getting so tired that more and more and more I'm seeing communities of grace pop up. And more. See, it's usually the pastor who last gets it, because his ladder's been up against this wall of performance, and it helps get more people in that door, and you keep the carrot out in front of him, and so he's got a lot to risk to learn this way of life, because at first it feels like it won't be as productive, and just the opposite's true. But at first it's terrifying. And what I'm running into now is pastors who in midstream are willing to out themselves and say to their community, can we go back to shore and get a more seaworthy vessel? This one is not I haven't told you that there's a leak down in the bottom of the boat.
That I tape up every week.
And I've been bailing while you've been sleeping, but I'm tired of bailing water, and it is amazing to watch. I'm not cynical. I have a lot of hope that if this is God's message, it's original good news. This is the gospel. This isn't like just a new little pop theology. If this is, then he's waking up hearts all over the place, and that's me. That's you, Chad. It's costly. So, Ree, what a great question. And I think that's why I love things like 220, Network 220, and TrueFace, and some of the other resource and community areas, counseling areas. I'm watching the start of what could be a reformation in these truths, because we are exhausted from trying to live out sin management. We're just exhausted.
I think I was telling you when we talked yesterday, there's a couple of pastors that I've started, I'll see on, especially now online, and they're using language, and they're not just talking about grace, because I feel like pastors talk about grace, but it's this trust, and it's this understanding of rest, and being called, like we're called into rest in Christ. And when I start hearing these words and I start hearing some language, I'm like, wait, where did you get that? I just connect. There's a guy, Ben Daly, up in Dallas, that I just connected with, and he's got a whole other network of pastors that he's connecting with. And I think what I'm noticing is, and you said it's usually the pastor that catches it last, but if the pastor has other people, other pastors that he's seen survive.
Yeah. That's exactly right. You're saying it so well, because I don't know where to go. I want to do this, but I don't, where's my impetus to move forward? Where's my next step? And Chad, for you to even make contact with him and find out that he knows Pete Briscoe, and then I go, well, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is. The wow.
And we don't have to get it. He there's a book he wrote that he told me, like, when he first came out with that thought process. I mean, he was.
It's like coming out, isn't it? I mean, okay, here I go. I'm going to destroy everything. Yeah,
that's it. He was pastor of a mega church and had a mass exodus. But what I've understood is, when you catch the understanding of the gospel, there's no going back. Like, what?
I say that, like, if Bill, Bruce, and John said to Ree and to you tomorrow, you know what, we're recanting of these things, we don't believe them anymore, all you'd be able to say is, I'm so bummed for you, and I'll stand with you. I love you guys, but I got to keep going. We have no choice. Once we've tasted of this, and what's also remarkable is people are coming to these truths from persuasions and denominations and backgrounds that they have no business coming to these truths from. I've got this guy in the UK, and he says, John, I'm from wild the Toronto blessing background, and man, but we can't live without this grace. The other, as true as parts of things might have been, we were worn out. And so it is beautiful to watch who's getting these truths and find out that there's a lot of places where we thought we were the only ones carrying it, to find out we're not even carrying it exceptionally well. There's people out there now
not true.
that are beautifully carrying it now.
I don't know if you saw Glenn Webb's question here. Why aren't the seminaries teaching this?
Yeah. Glenn, that's so good. I remember I went back to my seminary and I got to speak the Two Roads talk there.
Mm.
And afterwards, my systematic theology professor said, "Where'd you get that? You didn't get that message from here. That wasn't reflective of what you learned here, because we don't know those truths."
Mhm.
And it was like he was saying, "I've always wanted to know that. I've always wanted to be able to teach that, but uh, knowing theology well, knowing the truth about God is not." Let me say it this way: if I read Scripture with a filter of moralism or shame, I will read a different Scripture than if I read it without it. What's that passage in John that I always go to? What is it? 14:15, where he says, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments."
Mm.
Well, as a young believer,
Oh yeah, that
like 6 months in, I just went, "What?" And it sounded to me, because of my shame, like Jesus was saying, like a pirate,
mm.
"If you love me, you'd keep me commandments.
Mhm.
If you love me, and I don't much think you does, you would keep my commandments." I'm not going to tell you how many and how fast and how high. And so it freaked me out. But to realize I imposed that onto Jesus.
Mm.
He said, "That's not Jesus." In the Greek, or in the original languages, that coming out of the Aramaic, but when it's translated, it's a first class conditional, the if, meaning not if of doubt, but if of certainty.
Mm.
If, or literally, because.
There you go.
Because you love me, you're going to find yourself keeping my commandments. Oh, and by the way, remember, there's only one. And even that one's not really a command. It's what you most want to do.
Mm.
It's an invitation. Okay. Well then, so I get to read the scriptures and understand the scriptures. Oh my gosh, that's why I came out of seminary, a good seminary, not a. They wouldn't have said they were legalistic at all, but the effect on me was I got more knowledge, but I didn't get wise. I didn't get insight and discernment, because those demand trust. You see, that's why our churches sometimes, so many of them, can be incredibly. I'm sorry, Siri's saying I don't understand what you're saying, but I can get knowledge from anyone, but to get truth and insight and discernment and wisdom, I have to trust. So it's why our churches they major on knowledge, because it doesn't demand that they be trustworthy or that they be known.
Oh.
So I think even seminaries, I say that even, I think we're going to discover, as more and more young pastors are developing, growing up, I think it's going to filter upwards instead of downwards.
Mm.
And I think we're going to start seeing seminaries. It's still an amazing ride. There's many books written on justificational grace, but we're just now starting to see books written on sanctificational grace.
Mm.
And so it's some of the most beautiful new work of the gospel that young, great thinkers get to pioneer for us.
It's incredible. I know it's been a minute. I really did say if we have time, but I love this question or this statement. Want to see what your thoughts were.
I'd love to know, what's the biggest cultural pushback you get as you propagate this message? Well, it's in every area, but it's for me, it's the conviction that some have, Every single generation has it. If I love Jesus more, I really got to sell out. I've got to be so sold out. And so there's a whole world around that says, I got to try more. I got to do harder. I got to love him more. I've got to be passionate as I can be. And Christ says, I'm fused with you.
Mm.
How much more of me are you going to get? You get to just enjoy me. But it creates a church culture. It creates a climate in how we think we have to do life together. And then I watch the outside culture. They use this term about us, that we are hypocrites.
Mm.
They watch us and say, I know you guys mess up just like we do. You're not a different breed of better. You don't always sin less.
Mm.
I love what Bill says. They'll know that we're Christians because we sin less than them.
What Jesus said, right?
Yeah, he's what he said. They'll know we're Christians by watching us give and receive love. And so when the culture sees that, I think they know Jesus is real. They're just freaked out by us.
Yeah.
And so when they start to see something genuine where we get to tell on ourselves, where they watch people who are free and not putting on religious taboos onto people that Scripture doesn't have, when they see us enjoying this life and faith, the culture, when they see us not filled with hate, when they see us not attacking them for their lifestyles, when they see us embracing, when they see us admitting our failure, when they see us being known and knowable, Jesus is irresistible. He's Jesus. But I mean, look, when he was on earth, when people were around, they just went.
Mm.
So I think that's a cultural pushback that the culture gives because of that false message of sin management. And I think we have the privilege of breaking it on every plane. Thanks, Ree. Gosh, I miss getting to see you, Ree, but I get to watch you on videos, and you're just a rock star, man. It's such a delight.
Fun. I'm supposed to be building his website right now. What? Hey, it's probably your bedtime. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh, I'm still past my bedtime.
No way.
I had to get up this morning at 4:30 for a broadcast that was supposed to be on at 6, and I realized it is, but next Tuesday. So I've
no.
Yeah, I'm an embarrassment. I'm just an embarrassment to all professional speakers. Gosh, Chad, what I'd love to do is come back anytime that you guys would like, and we'll just unpack affirmation. We'll unpack any of these other subjects that stem out of what we've been talking about, marriage, parenting, any of those kinds of areas. Because Chad, I love so much being with you, and it's incredible for me as a communicator to know I have a friend in these. I used to go on radio shows and still go on radio shows where this message was not acceptable. Like you said, they kind of sort of got grace, but you knew that they were standing against what you were teaching.
Yeah.
And so to have someone who's risking trying that out, it's a blast for me.
This is so much fun. I mean, it's a treat. I would have never thought that I get to talk with you online. I remember the moment I started reading the secure, and I was like, who are these guys? And now I get to call you friends. And
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and to have you two be dear friends with Kaylee and Caleb, do you know what that is for me?
I'm a little frustrated he didn't jump on tonight, but like,
well, and you know where he is? I
nothing is confident.
I think Jeremy and April White are with them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's in town. He's going to come to my Facebook Live happy hour with Stacy and I tomorrow. He's going to be in the background, social distancing. So
you better stay safe. We need you around.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, yeah, I think that's why he's not on. But to know.
Yeah, Amy called him out. She said, not all Lynches are creepy.
Oh, that's good. Amy, thank you for coming on. That makes my.
We love your family. Incredible, and
vice versa, man.
If I could pick up the Arsenal and move it to Phoenix, I would. I just can't leave. This is my piece. And
that's right. It would lose the name. It would just ruin it. So
we can't do that.
Thank you. Our God, thank you for this evening. What a treat. Just a blast. And I just ask that you continue to grow up this community of faith and just keep growing them up in these truths, and that they would continue to risk these truths, and that they would draw every type of individual from every walk of life, because they would see life and real and beautiful and authentic and genuine, and they would see Jesus. So I give the Arsenal to you, and Chad, and all who are associated with it, and all who are listening tonight. The authority of Jesus. Amen.
John, thank you.
Thank you, dear brother. What a treat. All right, I'd like to leave, but I have no idea how I get off.
Yeah, you're not. You're stuck. We're here forever. I'm gonna plug real quick though. Make sure everybody, share this. You can still share it. It's a long one, I know, but people will love it, because if you share, not that one. I'm giving that one away. I'll send the cure to somebody who shared. I bet I got some of these I can send out. So share it. We're just gonna pick some places, some people to just send books to, because they're just sitting here, and that doesn't help anybody. So let's do that. Connect with John, johnlynchspeaks.com. Go onto his website.
And you can get on there and write a message to me if you want. It's got a place where you can contact, and that'll just come to me. So I'd love that.
And the videos are on there. You can watch those, share those, and get those devotionals. They're fun. I love watching your videos. You're on your walk.
Yeah.
Walk.
It's when you don't have good equipment, you just take your phone and go for a walk. That's what you do.
I'm here. You let me know the next time I'm out there. We'll go shopping.
This audition went well. I'm very impressed. I'm not doing anything ever again without this.
There we go. You just let me. I can run the back end of this and just put you and other people can talk. You just let me know when.
We'll do it. Thank you for everything, man.
Thank you. And you know what? I'll kick you out. Will that help you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. John, love you, man.
Bye, you guys. Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
You guys hit those hearts. Let John know how much you loved it. And there we go. Bye, John.
Bye-bye.
Kicking the guest out. That's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I know it was a long one, but it's John Lynch. You don't stop the fire hydrant of truth and grace and love. So thanks for being here. Share this. Like I said, I know it's long, but I'll go through. Maybe I can cut out some bits and pieces that we can share a little easier. But I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you missed something, go back to the beginning and watch it. This will be on Facebook. It's on our YouTube page. We'll be back here for the Convo next Thursday. I think we're going to do nights. I like this nighttime. We were doing during the day, and I think at night we have a little bit more engagement. More people are available. So love you guys. Hey. And I don't even know what to say. We're done. Know that you're loved, that God loves you. He's pursuing you. And the only way that you can love is when you've first been loved. So receive that love so that you can love, and so that we can just do community together. Stay safe. Stay social distancing. Let's protect each other. It's a good way for us to love each other. And we will see you next week. Or if you want, we'll see you Sunday morning for the Arsenal at 11. All right, guys. Love you. Have a great night. Yes.